So, hello. I go by JaLise in most spaces. I'm super excited to be doing this today. Believe it or not, I had the thought I should make a podcast. And then I said, why wouldn't I? And I decided to do it. So, the name for the podcast is just JaLise because that is who I am. I remember a few years ago, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, we were doing an exercise. I am ... And we had to essentially define, who are we? And I said to her, I am JaLise. That's it. And she was like, no, that's a cop-out. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like a cop-out. And boy, oh boy, that's the truth. It was not a cop-out. So today I'm talking about identity in a sense. So in scripture, God is referred to as the Most High, but he also responds to his people saying, I am that I am. In Exodus 3:14, that is where it shows up. So we're actually going to look at the scripture because ChatGPT gave me that answer and I'll be skeptical. So in Exodus 3:14, we're going to look at the English Standard Version. God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, say this to the people of Israel. I am sent you. What? I am sent you. Okay. Why is this happening? So the context for Exodus 3 is that Moses was keeping the flock, his father-in-law, Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led the flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. Okay, so he was actually keeping the flock. This is after he had left Egypt. So there's some time in between that he gets married, and his father-in-law, Jethro, he's keeping his flock, he's walking them. And while he's on this mountain of God, unbeknownst to him, God appears in a bush, burning. He looked. This is Moses. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. Come on, somebody. And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight. Why the bush is not burnt? Ah! When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, when God saw that he saw. Come on, somebody. When God saw that Moses saw, he called to him out of the bush. He said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. Oh, how ironic. He doesn't even know yet. Here I am. Then he said, do not come near. Take the sandals off your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face. He was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of the land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And now, behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. Come, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said, God, who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? He said, but I will be with you. And this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. This shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Israel, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said to God, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your father has sent me to you, and they ask, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, say to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. I had to read the whole thing. I stumbled over parts of it. I'm not going to edit it out. Well, some of it I will. So the powerful thing about this particular text is Moses was just minding his business and God appeared to him. He could have kept walking, but he saw. And when God saw that Moses saw, he spoke to him. And Moses responded, "Here I am." We say I am so very much. So very much. And in the ways that we use it, God says that this is how he will be remembered throughout all generations. I am that I am. I am. And so I have to consider, if God is to be remembered as I am, how have I honored his name? Up until this moment, really this past year, I've not honored it well. I have whispered, yelled, believed all utterance of blasphemy. And what do I mean by that is that I would say I am, and there were so many blasphemies that will follow. Stupid, ugly, too much, too little, not enough. All of these things that I would never say or believe to be true about my father. And yet, after his name, after how he was to be remembered, how he is to be remembered, I've uttered those things. Nothing divine behind that word. There have been times where I will say, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am love, I am all of these positive affirmations, but not always. And in this last year, this Jesus year, walking on water, I've decided to be more intentional with what I say that I am, who I say that I am. I am JaLise. That is the name that has been given to me by my mother. And although it does not fully capture who I am, it is what I call who I am. This being, this body is not even who I am. So I released the EP this year in July, and it's going to be streaming everywhere in August. One of the lines in one of the songs says that I'm unhinging my identity from these worldly things. That revelation came some time ago. And what I mean by that is I have to decide to unhinge who I am from things that I do. That is, I work as a therapist. I sing music. I sing worship. I write music. I play my guitar. I rap. I do a lot of things. I work with children. I do consultations. I live as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend. And yet none of those things is who I am. They're not who I am, but they do highlight different components of who I am. So today's episode is called I Am. And what I want to get at is simply a few things about JaLise, okay? And I want to challenge you all at the end of this with a question yourselves. So when I think about myself, a few things come to mind: silliness, music, sisterhood, mental health, honesty, self-care and compassion, and trying anything once. I guess adventures, maybe you could call that. And so as I was looking through all these things, I realized that there are so many things in this Christian walk in our toolkit that we can actually use to combat the enemy and the challenges against our faith. These are not the things that we are, but these are things to help us as we begin to unveil and take off the things that we have allowed to define us, things that we have allowed to cover us because we did not feel that we were enough. When Moses came or paid attention to the bush, and he was curious and he wanted to know what was going on. Why isn't the bush consumed? I'm going to talk about that later, about the consuming fire that doesn't consume. What? Okay, beautiful. So when he got curious, God told him, hey, no, take your sandals off because the ground is holy. Huh? You want me to be more exposed? Do you want me to be undressed in the holy ground? Absolutely. Come as you are. as you are, like naked, right? Unveil. So that's the question I have for you. What are some things that you need to take off to enter the holy ground that God is calling to you from? And a second bonus question, if you're really feeling it, is where is God calling for you from? For Moses, he was walking his father's flock. He was on a mountainside, and God called to him from a burning bush. Where's that burning bush for you? Where is God calling to you from? Is it a child? Is it something at work? Right? Moses was working. Is it something at home that keeps calling to you? You keep noticing it. Is there somewhere you can look so that God can call to you? And then can you identify what it is he might tell you to take off so that you can come close? All right. Episode 1 in the making. I'll see you next time.